been a pattern for the last 2 years. So once these girls have, they say my fiance, it's a wrap on anything that the dude does is stupid, any kind of abuse. It's
Well, surprise, surprise, I'm back again. Still a little husky from all these allergies, but I think it's a little better than it was the other day. Thanks for all the love from everybody who was worried about me because I tell you, I was feeling pretty congested. I couldn't breathe for crap. It was just terrible. It was just awful. And still, like I said, it's not too much better today, but it is what it is. It be what it be. Hey, Ash. Let's see, where's my column? Oh, here it is. Look how thick this is. All kind of questions. We left off, I think I did 10 or 11 or 12 or something uh, the other day before I had to just, throw up the white flag and deuce out. But today I have 25 questions like we normally do, and I'm going to do my best to get through them because we have 25 more tomorrow. And then that you won't see me for a week after that. So let's get started. This is oh, and before I do that, remind everybody who's listening that that QR code that you see on the screen, scan it with your phone. Just take your little phone, you just scan it, and it'll take you right to the advice submission form. You just fill that out, and it'll go into the queue. You know, not saying it'll be picked, but at least it'll be in the queue. If you don't even do that, it won't even get an answer. All right. Now let's look at female 22 to 27. She's from London. Summer issue. Deb, I'm getting married in 6 weeks and my feet are frozen. Girl, they need to be. I should have written to you sooner for advice. I am very, very stressed. Me and my fiance, both 27, have been together for 4 years. He has been extremely loyal. I'll, what? Okay, I guess I never had to worry about those things at all with him. We were long distance from London and Bombay. He has had a tough childhood with him having to witness his parents' divorce. I was working for an extremely reputable marketing firm in London for 2 years, and because we wanted to get married, I decided to move back. He has showered me with love when things are good, but when he has an emotional breakdown due to the trauma he has gone through, it does trigger a lot of instability. He's promised me he'll be better, but I can see myself getting into an unstable situation, but I cannot decide if this is unstable enough for me to leave. He does stand up for me to his overbearing mom from time to time, but every week there's something he is crashing out over. I love his love. We have a good time together, and he's very chivalrous and comes from similar values. And of course, I'm comfortable with him. This wedding planning, though, has made everything worse and surfaced many issues. I find myself contemplating whether this is a perfect match for me, which feels stupid because I already gave up a lot and moved and quit my job. I'm not sure if he'll be able to give me a very calm life. He has promised that to me recently because things were messed up and I was crying every week, but I can't understand if this is the moving back stress, my overall anxiety, or the universe screaming at me to get out. This is not the healthiest relationship per se, but I have also believed in values of marriage and working together to be better. Hence, I'm certainly conflicted. I find myself feeling I do deserve more at times, but I also have not dated much. I will say this though, some wonderful qualities of his. He's emotionally intelligent, not emotionally calm though, loyal, it bothers him when I'm upset. wants to spend time with me, has to take care of me, take care of your attitude, and has never made me feel bad about my career, how much I make, how I look, etc. But the cons are he has no control over what he says when he's sad, but also feels super bad and wants to work through things when he's a bit calmer. Is definitely not super emotionally mature. He's not very driven. He is caught up with all the feelings and drama. And I have found his relationship with his mother to be way too close, where I feel she feels quite comfortable saying shit about my parents to him in private. I am so caught up. I cannot understand what to do. We did announce our engagement and the cards have been sent out too. But I can't understand if I'm just so anxious with all the changes and absorbing like a sponge everyone's stress during this wedding time or if my gut is telling me something. And y'all have a comment, please put it in the chat. I'm going to say this. At the time, when you're getting married, your focus should be your mind should be like, this is right. This is absolutely where I want to be, the person I absolutely want to be with. Um, when you start talking about other people that are influencing your relationship that you have no control over, that is a super red flag. Now, just, I can't talk personally because I've never dated an Indian dude, but I've had a lot of Indian female friends. Um, and oh no, what's going on here? Did I get kicked out?
Been a pattern for the last 2 years. So once these girls have, they say my fiance, it's a wrap on anything that you do, does, is stupid, any kind of abuse.
Okay, I don't know what happened. It just, I was all in the middle of the show, and then suddenly I wasn't. It said, "You're not live anymore." I'm like, "Oh, okay." I don't really know what to do with that, but then it started playing the intro like I was just starting the show. I don't know what happened. I'll have to write to them and complain because that was a bit odd. So anyway, what I was saying to the young lady before I got so rudely interrupted is that, you know, when marriage is the kind of thing you have to be 100% sure. It's hard enough when you're both 100% committed and 100% sure. When you have gone into it with doubts and questions, and these are serious doubts, these are like red flag kind of doubts. And you're talking about the behavior of some third party, his mother, and how she's going to influence him and your relationship. And he's blaming his behavior on the fact that his parents got a divorce. I mean, so what? People get divorced every day. I mean, what is this that he's in his almost 30 years old blaming something that happened when his parents got divorced? That had nothing to do with you. And it's like, as an adult, I mean, so what? Our parents get divorced. That's their marriage. And if it's not working for them, then us as the kids, we don't have shit to say about it. We might be disappointed, but it's not ours to worry about. It's not ours to control. It's not ours to think about, lose sleep over nothing, because that's their, they chose that person. They did that before we came along. So if they unchoose that person, that's their red flag, and they have every right to do that. So I don't understand these people blaming stuff on, calling that childhood trauma and all this old stuff here. I mean, it sounds like weak excuses to me. What I don't want you to do though is to think that because you announced it and sent some engagement cards out that you're stuck. Don't ever think that. Just like you could send that shit out, you could send out a new one that says, "Oh, wedding canceled. We decided not to get married." Okay, so you really give it some thought. But I'm thinking that your inner voice is telling you, even though you jumped into it and you was all excited because I'm gonna get married. I'm gonna get married. You young girls tend to think like that. The fact is, your inner voice is telling you, yeah, it's great to get married, but not to this person. Because you got to deal with his mother. And if his mother's his priority in his life, you'll never be his number one. So just think about that too. Let me get some water. Maybe that's what I need. Yeah, I don't know what that was. Okay, let's move on. Question number 2. This is a female 22 to 27 from Stoke-on-Trent in the UK. Some of issue. I finally got closure after being ghosted, but it hurts more than the silence. I finally got an answer about why he ghosted me, and I don't even know how to process it. But you were stupid to ask him. I know this probably wasn't the healthiest thing to do, but after days of silence, I hid my phone number and called him. He answered because it was a private number. He was eating with his family and told me he would call me back, and he actually did. He apologized for disappearing and for not giving me an explanation sooner. He said he didn't know how to tell me. The reason is that he decided to move to relocate close to his family and friends in another province, very far from where I live. So that's it. I'm never going to see him again. It's over. What hurts the most is that in my head, I really believed he could, quote, be my person, end quote. I imagined that maybe he would ask me to come with him. And honestly, I would have gone. I was ready. Wait, how long was you dealing with this dude? You don't even say how long y'all was dealing with each other. Usually that's one of the first things women say. Okay, I imagine that maybe he would ask me to come, and honestly, I would have gone. I was ready. Instead, I have no choice. There's nothing I can do. I feel completely powerless. I feel broken. I can barely function right now. Oh my God, you're such a fucking drama queen. Even though the connection wasn't that long, it felt very real to me, and losing it this way hurts deeply. I guess I got closure, but it doesn't feel like relief at all. It just feels like grief. Okay, let me bust your bubble. First of all, feelings are not facts. Okay, feelings are not facts. I don't know how many times I have to tell you girls that you want to go around the world judging every situation, your feelings, and everything else by your feelings. Your feelings are irrelevant to the real world. They only matter to you. So you trying to say, well, if he had wanted me to come with him, why would he want you to come with him? It wasn't like y'all was together for years. You didn't even say how long you were together. And so that leads me to believe it was a very short time. The second thing is there's some videos on this channel about closure. Closure is the kind of thing that you give yourself. You don't get it from someone else. So, like, just like, he said that it was because he was moving to be closer to him. You don't even know if that's true, right? So he told you some shit that sound good and you accepted as closure, but guess what? You could have told yourself that same thing. It's no more true than when he said it because you have no way to back that up as a fact, right? I just want you to understand here, like you put all this emotion into it. He could be my person and all this other stuff. Here, all this fantasizing about a relationship with this man that was not backed up by reality. So, I mean, I know you want some sympathy, but you ain't gonna get it from me. You're not gonna get it. Not here, not today. All right? Just stop it. Act like a big ass baby. Question number 3. This is a female, 22 to 27 from Norwich in the UK. So I have an issue. My coworker asked about Nook Nook before we went on a date. Okay, why was you going on a date with your coworker? Let's start there. Don't you know that's like one of the major boundaries that you never cross? All right. My coworker drove me home yesterday and I felt like I should have told him, no thanks, I didn't want the ride. But I said yes. Then he admitted that he liked me. I think he's an attractive guy too, so I figured why not. Then he offered to drive me home again today. When I got in his car, there was a gun in his front seat. Oh, I felt uneasy and I should have told him that I'll take an Uber, but I got in his car anyway. So notice all these warnings that you're getting. Your inner voice is telling you not to do something, and your dumb ass is doing it anyway. Okay, this is already the second time in 2 days. During the ride, he started to ask me how often I like to have nook nook. And you didn't say pull over. I'll just take a cab from here. Okay. How often I like to have nook nook, and I felt extremely uncomfortable. At this point, I know I need to tell him that this isn't going to work. He wants to go on a date tomorrow, but I don't want to. How do I tell him that I don't think this is going to work out? Should I mention that I was uncomfortable about the nook nook question? I have to see him every day at work, and I don't want to make things weird. What should I say? You should tell him, like, look, I want to thank you for giving me a ride those 2 days, but we're not going to be doing that again, and we're not going to go on a date. And he's gonna say, well, why not? Why not? I said, because you give me the ick. You're gonna get a girl in your car and you have a gun there and you start asking her about sex. Don't you think putting them things together might make her feel threatened and afraid of you? So I'm gonna back off from this. I'm gonna tell you, don't talk to me about nothing except that has to do with work. If you do, I'll have to make a report to HR for harassment. So you leave me alone, and we're done here. 2 rides was nice, like I said, but I can see you have an agenda, and I'm not about that life. That's what you say. You can use your own words. But I feel like with men, you have to be extremely direct. You have to use strong language, and you cannot mince your words and try to be nice and hint around and beat around the bush and do all this other shit that women like to do. You have to go bam, 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 bam. So first, you thank him for the rides because that was nice, but we're not going to repeat that behavior because you see he has an agenda, and the ride with him with the gun on the seat felt threatening. And so you are going to bow out. And then the final thing on the closer is just talking about work stuff and is minimize that. And that if he persists in this, bothering you, then you have to make a report to HR for harassment. Those are the 4 points you want to cover. Use your own words, but make sure those things are brought up. Question number 4. This is a female, 28 to 34, from Fort Worth, Texas. Summary of issue: how do you suggest women not lose hope in dating? The spinster path is looking really appealing right about now. I'm just really tired, Deb. I'm 28. I have always been intentional and tried finding a partner for the last 3 years. I really want children, but I'm losing hope. The relationships always ended because of something bad that they did. Things ended on good terms though because we are adults. I think I'm just unlucky rather. Talking stages are so exhausting right now. I'll talk to someone for a couple of hours and they'll even make plans to meet me too. But after a couple of days, I get ghosted. I have no interest in giving my time and energy to anyone anymore. How do you all recover from the failures and make dating fun? Y'all have a comment? Um, put it in the comment section. How do you? She's asking you guys. How do you all recover from the failures and make dating fun? I miss being carefree and going on dates. How do you recover from the failures and make? Well, see, I don't really see it as a failure because see, you're putting too much on it. It's like you going out. These are complete strangers. You're meeting them just like you would talk to somebody on the bus. That's about how much importance I give situations like this. It's not anything meaningful. It's nothing you should invest your emotions in. It's just you just meeting them, and so you meet them. If you meet them a time, once, two, 3 times. I mean, okay, you have no commitment with this individual. They don't owe you anything. You don't owe them anything. So I'm really having a hard time with understand about where you say that things ended because of something bad that they did. But see, one thing you didn't do was say how long these situations were. If it's been less than 90 days, in my mind, it wasn't even a real relationship anyway. It was just, y'all just kicking it, trying to get to know each other. Because, like I always say, unless you had that conversation where you talk about you want commitment, what we're going to be doing in this commitment, what that commitment means, what your expectations are, then you don't have a commitment. That's not your boyfriend and that's not your girlfriend. This is somebody you dating. Yeah, I mean, and if it's not fun, then get up and leave. I mean, have a signal with a friend that you know, they call you at a certain time into the date, and then if it's good, you say, okay, okay, I'm just finishing up over here. I'll be there in about 30. Okay, then the date's going. Okay, you're gonna give it 30 more minutes. If it's not, you say, what, girl? No. Okay, oh, okay, I'll be right there. And then you tell, dude, I'm sorry, something comes to come up. I have an emergency. I'll have to leave. I'll catch up with you tomorrow. And then you do so. You know what I mean? You just be like me and say, I'm just not feeling it. And then they be looking all sad. Why not? What's wrong with me? I'm thinking, shit, don't open that Pandora's box because I'm not trying to hurt your feelings up in here. Don't ask me stuff like that. I mean, why would you do that? Why would you open yourself up like that to somebody? But whatever. Okay, so, that would be my way of putting too much. Uh, you're putting too much. I saw a little bug crawling on my computer. So, I had to get it. Um, you're investing too much in these early dating situations. Let's move on to question number 5. This is a male, 35 to 41 from San Antonio, Texas. Some issue. How do I tell my girlfriend that she needs to read a news article or something? And the last lady, please check the chat here on YouTube because they have uh, some suggestions for you that might help answer your question. So he wants to know how to tell his girlfriend that she needs to read a news article. I want to preface this by saying that I love my partner more than I have any other person I've been with. She and I have so much fun together. We explore our neighborhood a lot, go to fun restaurants, go to shows together. We are 36 and have been friends since we were 14 and was very much the first girl I fell in love with. She was my prom date, the first person I went to pick up after I got my driver's license. Life took us separate ways after high school and college, but we reconnected and are now dating. No combination of words will ever express my love for this woman. Also, for some context, I am Mexican and she is white. Okay. Last week, I mentioned something about the woman who was murdered by ICE in Minneapolis and all the turmoil that followed. She had no idea it was happening, no idea about the stuff that led up to it, or the fact that someone was killed by ICE or the protest. Normally, I don't tell her news stuff because it upsets her and makes her uncomfortable. Now, I'm not saying I want her to know everything happening all the time. For something to be the biggest news story in the country and her to not have heard about it seems crazy to me, especially when it's something that affects the community or the person you've called a partner forever. This is by no means a deal breaker, but it also doesn't make me feel good that all this is happening and my people are on the receiving end of it, and she only seems to care about where we're going to eat over the weekend. My young man. Now, I know you Mexican, so you probably don't affiliate much with the black community, but I want you to look up the phrase white privilege. This is your girlfriend is a fucking walking example of it because white people get to walk through the world oblivious to what's going on to people of color. They don't have to know. Their life still goes on. Just regular. The ones who are suffering and getting the end of it, the brunt of all of that mistreatment and abuse and racism and sex. Well, some of it is sexism too. The people who are suffering anyway are the people of color. White people have the option to care, but they usually choose not to. And that's called white privilege. The way they get out of it is say, "Oh, I don't want to hear about that. That's so upsetting." Or they say, "Well, what can I do about it anyway?" So you have enough white people that want to poke their head in the sand like that, then nothing's ever going to change because y'all is the one perpetrating these crimes. So in order for any change to really be made, I mean, we can protest that we can demand it, but the ones who are going to make it a law and stuff is your uncle, your daddy, and your grandpa. them old white fuckers up in Congress and the Senate. All of them. They're ancient and old, and them is your relatives. So, until you younger ones get on the stick and say, "Oh, this shit is not right. I don't want to live in a world that looks like this. I don't want my kids growing up in an environment like this." Until y'all get your shit together and you start getting together and putting the pressure on your uncles and your older brothers and your daddies and your grandpas, then this country's gonna always continue to be fucked up. Okay? So, young man, I know you say you love her and all this kind of stuff, but just be ready. And if you have kids with her, it's gonna bring a whole new bag of tricks because you're gonna have biracial children. So, what is she gonna choose to teach them? Is she going to teach them about their culture? Or is she gonna ignore your culture completely and just teach them about hers? These are all conversations you need to be having before you decide to marry this broad. You may not think this is a big deal now, but I have seen couples break up because of this kind of stuff. Because the minority partner feels slighted, ignored, and diminished because of their white partner's refusal to acknowledge what's going on with their people. So you think about this shit because this is serious. This is serious. That's what I used to like about reading about the stuff that's going on in the '60s with the hippies and all the kids, college kids protesting, bra burning, doing all that stuff. I mean, the college kids in the United States at that point they was not having it. They battled against all kinds of stuff to make change in this country, and they were successful. These college students these days, they don't shit, they ain't thinking about nothing other than video games and video games. I don't know, but I feel very strongly about this. That's, one thing. Like, if you get with somebody, you're a minority person, and you get with a white person, they have to be woke. They have to be like well read. They have to know about the history of this country, how it affects people of color. They have to be literate, and they just have to be aware. That's what they call it, woke. So if they choose not to be, because like you said, it's everywhere. That story was everywhere. So she choose, they like I said, though, they have the option to ignore it. The rest of us don't, because this is what's happening to us. How are we gonna ignore that? But they can just turn their head or pretend it's not happening. So you look that up, white privilege, and you tell me, write me back and tell me how you think that applies to your situation, because I think that's the answer right there. Question number 6. This is a male, 22 to 27, from Dearborn, Michigan. Summary of issue. Tell a girl that I'm seeing that I don't want to be friends and it turned her cold. I'm 32, she's 26. She too young for you anyway. What the fuck is you doing? We are co-workers and have gone to multiple, and you work together too? That's a double no-no. We've gone to multiple dinners and activities over the last 4 months. She very recently got out of a relationship and wants to take it slow, which I have agreed with. She moved to the area 2 years ago and is contemplating a job offer which will move her away. We have had multiple dates and is saying that she really likes me and we get along incredibly well, and she just doesn't know what she's going to do about the possibility of moving, dating, and or possibly wanting me to date her long distance. She wants to go slow and not considering these meetups as dates, but it's been almost 4 months. So I straight up asked her, "Do you want to just be friends?" A few dinners ago, and she responded a fast no. Then this last dinner, we started drinking and we got a little heated about these things. I said that I don't want to be just friends. I have enough friends already. And she got mad that I wanted all or nothing response, where I want to jump into a serious relationship, which is not what I'm saying. And in a few days, she's been a little colder with me than usual. I explained to her this weekend that I want a situation where I can take her on actual dates and that I'm not willing to do this forever and have her lead me on. It now seems she's warmed back up, but still not all the way. She also explained to me that she takes relationships seriously and doesn't want to be abandoned in the area if we did end up dating and we broke up. We are still hanging out and going to dinner this week, but I just don't know what to do. Obviously, she has made a lot of decisions. Obviously, she has a lot of decisions to make since she could possibly move and then this decision. I'm going to say this. What she wants to do is milk you for dinners and dates and shit and attention until she packs up and moves to her new city. Don't fall for it. Stick to your guns. If y'all just gonna be going out as friends and make that bitch pay her half. Okay? Don't be treating her like she's your woman and she done already told you she don't want to be. Okay? That's what you need to do. Be smarter. And you stick to your thing like I don't want to be just friends. I have enough friends already. She's gonna get mad at you because that puts her in a situation where she can't use you anymore. Because otherwise, when women put that kind of boundary up, normally, even if they do hang out with you, they be very clear they don't want to be obligated to you in any kind of way. So they might even treat you sometimes. Y'all each pay your own way. But she's not going to keep going on dates where you're paying and romancing her, and then she's hitting you with that bullshit. So you better rethink this. You just setting yourself up to be used with your hunger. You coming off as a simp. Don't do that. Question number 7. This is a female, 22 to 27 from Eugene, Oregon. Same issue. My boyfriend of 7 years emotionally cheated. He hid it and manipulated me. Now his parents are pushing for forgiveness, and I feel even more confused. You ain't confused. You know they on some bullshit. I'm struggling to wrap my head around what I just found out, and I could really use your perspective and insight. My boyfriend's 24, I'm 25. We've been together for 7 years. We were high school sweethearts and did long distance for about 5 of those years while he was away at school. I trusted him completely and truly believed he was my forever person. But back in June, I had a really bad gut feeling about a woman he was interacting with. Something felt off, but I couldn't quite put my finger on it. Around that same time, this woman actually started following me on Instagram. She started swiping up on my stories, messaging me and asking questions about my boyfriend and our relationship. Well, did you answer her? That's the only important part. She could ask whatever she wants to. But you were supposed to say, that's none of your business, bitch. The fuck? What you doing? That's what you're supposed to say. So what stood out to me was that I had never heard her name before. My boyfriend had never mentioned her to me at all. At the time, I didn't want to assume bad intent, so I brushed it off. When I asked my boyfriend about her, he told me that she was just a friend of a friend and there was absolutely nothing going on, and strongly encouraged me to block her and stop reading her messages. I felt uneasy, but I trusted him and I ignored my instincts. Dummy. Fast forward to 5 days ago. The girl reached out to me again and sent extensive screenshots and messages. What I saw confirmed my instincts back in June were right. He had been sending her sexually explicit messages, including vanish mode. I don't even know what that is. Memes with a sexual nature, comments about her body, asking about nook acts, telling her that she was sexy, saying that he wanted to hold her, asking what she does when she's, oh, honey, inviting her to stay over or sleep over, and ultimately sending her an unsolicited nudie. She repeatedly had to remind him that he had a girlfriend. I saw the text that makes me sick. Wow. There was also a night where he stayed over her apartment, quote, for safety reasons after drinking, and he slept in her bed. She says nothing further physical happened, but even that feels like a massive violation to me. What hurts just as much is that months ago, when she first tried to reach out, he framed her as the problem and convinced me to block her. Looking back, it feels incredibly manipulative because he was actively preventing me from seeing the truth. When confronted recently, he admitted that everything she showed me was true. The added complication is his parents, whom I love dearly. So they reached out to me expressing shock, disappointment, and validating my feelings, which I appreciate. But they're also encouraging me to forgive him, reminding me of how long we've been together and how much time I've invested, and emphasizing how much he loves me. I understand this is coming from a place of it being his parents, but it's left me feeling conflicted and second guessing myself even before I've had time to process what happened. Okay, so she going on and on. I don't know if our relationship can recover from this emotional cheating, plus this level of deception and secrecy. I don't know how to separate love, shared history, and his parents from the reality of his actions. Well, I'm gonna tell you, his parents ain't in the relationship, so their thoughts and opinions don't mean shit. And you're not me, but that's what I would have told him. It's like, well, your raggedy ass son and I are the ones in the relationship, don't call me with this bullshit because I don't want to hear it. You don't have shit to do with this, except for the fact that you raised a trifling ass monkey motherfucker for your son. That's the only part that you have anything to do with. But any decision about what happens from here on out is mine. I don't need you saying nothing about it. Goodbye. Click. I don't care what you think. It was in bad taste. In the I'm talking about his white girlfriend, and I'm talking about the concept of white privilege. Don't sit on my channel and try to tell me shit about what to say. Okay, if anything I'm saying here you don't like it, take your ass somewhere else. Cause I speak the truth here. And white privilege is a fucking thing where you can go somewhere and you will get treated differently than a person of color for they no matter how they dress or what they look like. That's what it is. And like I said, white people have the option of not caring and not being up to date on shit that's happening to people of color. I didn't say everybody is. I said the ones like I remember seeing in the news and stuff, all them white kids in the 70s, protests and all that stuff. They was out doing some shit, and of course they were on the side of making change. I'm not talking about them. I'm talking about those who choose to ignore these issues, act like they're not fucking happening, or if they do happen, that somehow it's the person of color's fault for getting shot and killed for some shit they didn't even do. Okay, now, so you watch yourself, because I will throw your ass off this channel. I'm not kidding. Don't you ever, ever, ever do that shit to me again. It's so fucking disrespectful. Take your ass somewhere else before I get super mad. Right now, I'm just irritated. But don't get me started. Anyway, young lady, you make this decision. If I were you, I would dump him immediately. Not only for the fact that he did these things, but for the fact that he tried to gaslight you about it and manipulate and coerce you into staying in a relationship while he was out there doing all this other stuff. Okay, that's not somebody you want to deal with. And that's definitely not somebody who's husband material. Okay, you don't do that. Don't do that to yourself, rather. Let's move on. Question number 8. This is a female, 18 to 21 from Nashville, Tennessee. Summary of issue. My close knit group of 6 girls in my university class, including my best friend, are icing me out and making cruel jokes. I feel heartbroken and lost. I'm 18 and in my first year at university. In my academic group, it's like a fixed class, just like in school. But now in university, there are only 6 girls, including me. We've become incredibly close, a tight knit group that does everything together, or at least we used to. Lately, I've been feeling more and more like an unwanted presence. There's one girl in the group, let's call her Aaliyah. She has a very distinctive personality. Her primary love language seems to be insults, calling everyone names, often comparing us to animals, and general teasing. It's always been our group's dynamic, a bit of mutual ribbing. Ribbing is normal for our age, and no one took real offense because we knew it was just banter. But Aaliyah just took it further than the rest of us. Over time, she and I grew close. I genuinely believe she cares about me, even though she'd rather tell me to fuck off than say it directly. I know it, and I think others see it too. But recently, her jokes aimed at me have stopped being funny. They've turned sharp and hurtful. Comments like, everyone would have a much better and nicer time if you just left. Wow. Yeah, Kiki, I was just merely irritated. You don't want to see me pissed the fuck off. I've sent men running screaming when I get mad. So she's like, comments like, okay, I'm a sensitive person by nature and struggle with self confidence. So these words cut deep. But today was the final straw. Between lectures, we planned to grab food. My phone was dead, so I asked him to wait for me at the exit for 2 minutes while I plugged in to get enough charge for the outing. Aaliyah, true to form, threw out a no, we won't wait for you. It didn't take it seriously, assuming it was just one of her edgy quips. I ran to charge my phone. When I got back, they were gone. I searched everywhere. They had just left. And they all knew perfectly well I had no phone with me to call or message. They simply went to eat without me. I was beyond hurt and deeply disappointed. I ended up buying some chips from a store and sitting alone in an empty classroom trying not to cry while I ate. Not a single one of them texted me. How could they if your phone was dead? Nearly 2 hours later, closer to our lecture, anatomy, I went down to the department. I ran into another girl from our group, let's call her Emily, who hadn't gone to eat because she met some friends from another faculty. As we were talking, the rest of the group, including Aaliyah, walked in. Aaliyah immediately started her usual teasing directed at me. Then she dropped this bomb. I asked the girls if one of you, pointing between me and Emily, had to drop out, who would they prefer to leave? They all said they'd rather you were gone. And she laughed. My world dropped out from under me. I desperately tried not to burst into tears right there. Even though a rational part of my brain knows the other girls probably never answered that question, or that Aaliyah is fabricating just to get a reaction out of me, I can't stop thinking about it. I can't shake this crushing sadness. During the anatomy lecture, I cried silently, making sure that no one saw. So I'm asking you for advice. What do I do now? What should I say to them? I'm incredibly hurt. I've been thinking about this all day and crying on and off. I truly loved this group and was overjoyed at how friendly we were. And now I don't know who to trust or how to face them. Well, unfortunately, the time to do all that would have been when she was doing it. Um, I think what I would have done, yeah, this she's a mean person. What I would have done is when she said that, I would have asked the other girls, "Is this true? Did she really ask you that, or is that really what you said?" I mean, make them say it to you. Say, okay, one thing I cannot stand is weak ass bitches who can't say some shit to somebody's face. They're gonna go around and let somebody else be their mouthpiece. So is that what you? I would go point at each one of them. Is that what you want? Is that what you want? Is that what you want? And let them all say. Then say, okay, well, fuck you, bitches. I'm out. You don't need to have to and say. My thing is never make somebody have to reject you twice. If someone says they don't want to be with around you or something, then you need to, leave their sphere. I mean, it's not healthy for you. But that's why I would, before I did that though, I would in front of so they all have to answer, so everybody knows what everybody else said. Put them on the spot and ask them one at a time, right in her face, so they can say yes or no. She never really asked us that. She's making that up. She's just being funny. This and that. So it would have all come out right then. But see, you didn't do that. And so, she feels like she got something, she got away with something. Now, what I'm going to say too is I'm sad that you like this group of friends because she's the mean girl, but them other ones are just some weak ass bitches. Because it's like, how you going to let somebody run you like that? And let you're going to be a part of you following this person that you know is being mean to another human being, just like it's me. You to tell them to too, just like it's me this time. Your turn is coming, so I hope you be ready, because she's a nasty bitch. And so now you running around behind her like her shit don't stink. I don't know what to say about you. But one thing I don't want to do is be affiliated with anybody who's so weak and spineless they can't stand up to a bitch. So I'm out. Don't y'all never call me again. Don't if you see me in the hallway, act like you don't fucking know me. Don't talk to me. I don't ever want to see any of you hoes ever again. And I would mean it too. Because I don't know. One of my friends, she say, "Girl, I just don't understand how you just cut people off so hard." It's like you say you down with them, and it's like you just don't. It's like they cease to exist. And I'm like, that's exactly how I am. So I feel like I don't need to waste no more emotion on you. So like I said, that would be the time to do it. But at this point, your best bet is to block all of them on your phone. Never affiliate with them again. If you in class, sit somewhere with a other different people so that they can't sit next to you. Sit where there's already a bunch of people sitting and there's an empty seat. You take that one so that they have to sit somewhere else. You start putting distance like that between them. They try to run up after you and say, "Get the fuck away from me. I'm not feeling you anymore." Stuff like that, just to let them know I'm not that bitch. This is ridiculous. That's what, because you only 18, you just a baby. Oh, her little friend group. But the other thing is, the only reason that she's doing this, because she can see that it gets to you. Because you don't fire back and talk about her, some shit that about her. So you just such a trifling hoe. The only thing that makes you feel good is picking on other people, trying to make other people feel small so you can make yourself feel big. You stupid. Not only that, you stupid, you ugly. And you got the worst personality. It's like a roach has a better personality than you do. Stuff like, it don't have to be like profanity. It just be stupid. But she'd like to make jokes and have people laughing. Well, let's put some of that over there on you. So stuff like that. I mean, given being in an environment, I could probably think of something better, but since it's a third party, I'm just coming off the top of my head. But when I be looking at people, say, okay, I'm gonna plot your demise. Question number 9. This is a female, 22 to 27, from Montreal, Canada. Summer issue. I feel drained by my boyfriend. Uh, my boyfriend and I have been together for about 3 years now. We've lived together for just over one. He is 25 and I am 26. I love him very, very much, and like any other couple, we've had our ups and downs. We've had conversations about getting engaged this year, and a couple of weeks ago, I felt very in love with him. But now this week, I'm unsure if I even want to be with him anymore. There are a couple of things that bother me about a relationship, not in any specific order. Oh God, I mean, she had a list. Number one, he is loud and dramatic in the house and messy. I'm a clean person. I need the house to be clean to feel at peace. He, on the other hand, leaves his stuff on the floor and all over the place constantly, and his office smells like wet rat. No, I don't even know how wet rat smells, but it can't be good. We've talked about this before, and it's really gotten nowhere. If I try to mention it, he'll make up some excuse. So either I just clean it up or ignore it, but I'm internally really bothered. Oftentimes, when I'm sleeping, he'll have to wake up for something that seems like he pays little mind to try and be quiet. I've expressed that my sleep is important, and once he said, "You already slept for 9 hours. Why do you need more sleep?" For me, it's not about how long I slept, but the consideration of trying to be quiet when I am sleeping. Also, he's just slamming things around and it gives me anxiety. He's a big guy, and I know he can't help it, but I wish he would try to be a little more gentle for my sake. Not sure if that's unfair of me to ask. He's not doing that. He can help it. He's choosing not to because he knows it wakes you up and disturbs you, and that's his passive aggressive way of fucking with you. You don't get it. Number two, he's not very lovey dovey. He's more the nonchalant type. I personally love a man that loves wholeheartedly and is smitten with me. I've expressed this to him, and he makes efforts to be more touchy, but it's more like a pat on the back or my leg, like I'm a dog, not the wholehearted "I love you" type of hug. The only time he's really physically intimate is when he's trying to get some nook nook. I'm always the one that initiates cuddling and hugs and non-sexual physical intimacy. Number three, he's not super thoughtful. I think he would say he is, but he'll do things like make his favorite meal or snack or buy him flowers and a card at dinner after an accomplishment of his. But when I got a promotion, I'm not sure he didn't even celebrate me. I think he was happy and said congratulations. Sometimes he gives me flowers when he's been a little better about that, since I told him it's important. I buy him thoughtful gifts that he loves. This Christmas, we agreed that instead of big gifts, we'd save our money to buy a trip to Europe. We told all our friends and family. I made a list of small items that I wanted, while also verbally mentioned other things that I want. He only got 3 small items, all which were on the list for me, but I had spent over $300 on him because he was upset that the trip I got from last year was canceled and I got a refund, meaning I didn't give him a gift. He has also made no effort to plan the trip to Europe, and when I brought it up, he said he has a lot to pay for this year, potential wedding ring. I get having to save up for that, so it's okay, kind of, but it still stings. He called me materialistic for wanting a nice wedding ring. And the fifth one, he gets upset when I don't want to have Nook Nook because he's insecure about himself and thinks me not wanting to have it equates to me not finding him attractive. In the times where I've tried to say no, he gets fussy. So I've just stopped doing that because I do love him and it's not a huge deal. It does leave me feeling a little icky though. These are things off the top of my head. I feel like he makes some half-assed efforts. What is it? But his learning and growing is so much slower than I would want. He really does love me for me, and he makes my goofer inner child come out. Okay, you, this, that. Who cares about that? That's irrelevant. Yeah, he's a disrespectful. I'm not even gonna argue. I don't care. You could be purple, green with pink polka dots. I don't care what color you are. I'm telling you, if you don't understand white privilege in this situation, then look it up. And then come back and we can have an intelligent conversation. But one thing you're not gonna do is try to correct me about stuff I say. I'm a very intelligent, very well read, very educated woman. And one thing I can do is connect dots. Okay? And you might not be up to my speed yet. That's fine. I can help you. But you're not gonna come in here with your half-ass knowledge and try to check me. We're not gonna do that. Okay. Now this little girl here, what you haven't accepted yet, young lady, is that this is not the man for you. He's not the man for you. Every single thing that he does, you feel like you need to, you want somebody different. You want someone who's respectful and quiet. You want someone who's affectionate. You want someone who um, is thoughtful. You want someone who's considerate. You want someone who doesn't get bent out of shape and takes everything personally. You don't want someone calling you names like materialistic just because you want a nice wedding ring to put on your hand for 40 or 50 years. There's nothing wrong with that. So I'm going to say you better rethink this shit. Every time people get engaged, and I've said this several times, you girls get engaged and it's like your logic and sense of reason goes out the window. It's like beyond you, once you say my fiance, you cannot seem to see beyond that. You can't see the man's faults. You can't see the red flags. You can't see do the play by play, like, okay, if he's doing this, what it means down the road in the big picture. You seem to lose all that ability. So I mean, I'm glad you wrote, but I'm telling you, this ain't the dude. You're just gonna end up getting married and getting a divorce. Because as you get older, you get more mature, and you're better able uh, to voice your feelings and your needs. And so once you get to that point, then you realize how far behind he is and how he is not messing up with that at all. And but you might even have a kid or two. Don't do that to yourself. Find somebody else. Question number 10. This is a female 28 to 34 from Worthing, West Sussex in the UK. Summary issue. Is my boyfriend forgetting my birthday a deal breaker? Would be for me. I don't know about you. My boyfriend and I are both 29-year-old Capricorns. Prior to his birthday, I had asked if he wanted to do a dinner date with me and birthday nook nook after. And he told me his birthday was the last thing he was thinking about because his car broke down on the way home. But he did make it home. I told him I could take him to work and we'll figure it out. But he brushed me off and said that he would deal with it. He also said he didn't want to do anything on his birthday. I said, okay, sorry for mentioning it. He texted the next day saying he was sorry for being a grouch. And I said, thank you for saying that. The next day he said he had a lot going on and needed some space. I didn't celebrate his birthday with him and gave him his space. But I still went out of my way to give him a card with stickers and a gift card to In-N-Out Burgers. I dropped off the card with our mutual friend and his roommate. Later, he texted saying thank you and invited me to go to eat at an Asian buffet, but I had just eaten dinner and I said no, but to enjoy it with his friend. For a week after that, I still gave him space until I saw him to meet up with our mutual friend, and he barely interacted with me. I texted him later and asked if he was still requiring space. He said no, I'm sorry, he was good now. So there's something about, okay, yeah. They had some little fight. He was tired after work. Sorry, I can't give you what you want until I'm settled with work and my life, he says. Huh. It appeared we broke up, but then the next day he texted good morning and said he was drunk at work from night before because he was upset. Okay, so she tells him to sober up, blah, 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 blah. The next day, just a simple good morning, and I said it back, and that's all we said. Now, today is my birthday, and there's no good morning text or happy birthday message. Having said all that, which was way too much, I want him not saying anything is the ultimate deal breaker, and we should finally just call it quits. What would you think? I would think yes, because, it sounds like he's trying to put space between you. He didn't even want you to spend his birthday with him. He's not didn't want to spend yours with you. To me, that's two strikes plus the I need space thing. When people start talking about I need space, and saying they can't be anything with you till they get some stuff figured out, that's a breakup. You just didn't understand that that's what he was saying. So you still hanging on and trying to figure out, how you guys could talk to each other and hang around with him and stuff. Once he said that to you, you're supposed to block his number and move the fuck on. Otherwise, you what you're telling him is that you will accept some half-ass bullshit excuses and then still continue to be in a relationship with him. Mm-mm. Somewhat, Mo, I'm still congested. You can hear it in my voice. Still been coughing and whatnot. Still getting that post-nasal drip. It's like, oh, gross. Question number 11. This is a female 18 to 21 from El Paso, Texas. Summary issue. I have to arrange everything in my relationship I have to arrange everything in relationship with my boyfriend. What should I do? I've been in a relationship with my boyfriend for about a year. We are both 19. He is almost perfect. He's sweet, caring, funny, and very smart. He is very supportive when I have panic attacks or mood swings and loves me very much. I really love him too, but there's one recurring problem. I have to initiate almost everything in our relationship: dates, conversations, and even ask him to do things if I want something to happen. He wants to do things for me, but I always have to tell him when to do them and exactly how. At first, I didn't mind, but lately it has started to frustrate me. I feel like I have to mother him in order to get things done. It's also becoming boring. If I don't initiate anything, we usually just end up just watching a movie and going to bed. Recently, I have been feeling burned out, so I stopped initiating things for a while. Since then, nothing has happened at all. When I try to communicate about the issues, he is understanding, but nothing really changes. Lately, I've been feeling angry about it. He says that because he's afraid of doing something wrong, he'd rather not do anything at all. When I explain that this behavior results in me having to do everything, he tends to shut down. He has said that he really wants to change for me, but I'm starting to doubt whether he actually can. He grew up with the idea that everything would always work out, so he never really learned how to work actively for things. Recently, I have started fantasizing about other people and wondering whether they might be more exciting. At the same time, I genuinely love my boyfriend, and I'm afraid I won't find someone as sweet as him again. Should I just accept the situation as it is, or is this not okay? Girl, you only 19. Why would you accept this deadbeat in this crazy situation? Yeah, I mean, button to button just said it. It's not going to change. This is who he is. As you see, you keep trying to initiate change, and as you said, it doesn't get any better. So that means it's not going to ever change. This is who he is. He's in this. It's like like your relationship is like a boat on a lake, right? But the only one rowing it is you. So of course you're going to get exhausted. Of course you're going to get frustrated. Of course you're going to get burnt out. You want a partner, he's going to have some oars, and you're going to have some too. But he just sitting there in the boat waiting for you to give him instructions, and then you doing all the rowing. So, I mean, at some point, you're going to wake up and realize that this is not, this ain't the relationship for you. And plus, you're only 19. Come on now. Who gets married today happily ever after at 19? I mean, I know a few people here and there do around the world, but the majority of us go through several different relationships before we find our Prince Charming. It ain't nobody, settling for that at 19. So just move on. Question number 12. This young lady's 22 to 28, somewhere in the UK, it says. Some have issue wondering if it's time to let him go. I've known my boyfriend for almost 3 years. We live together and have known each other since school. I've been feeling like we are at different stages of life recently, especially since we moved in together. It's like he is stuck at 15. Oh, wow. I feel a lot more like his mother than a girlfriend. I recently found he's been messaging random people on socials, sexting them and sending and asking for nudes. He tried to deny it and gaslight me into thinking it's my fault. Of course he did. I know that if this were a friend situation, I would advise that they end things, but I don't know how to approach things with him anymore. He isn't mature, so the conversation won't be nice at all. He often tries to spin things back on me. I'm feeling very, it doesn't matter what he tries to spin. What you do is say, okay, we're supposed to be in a committed relationship, yet your ass is doing this, and this, which indicates that you still trying to play out there. You still trying to get your swerve on with other women. So guess what? This shit here is over. Yes, these girls. I'm telling you, you think these girls are something wrong. This I have to fault parents because they're not right. They're not telling their girls nothing. So the girls grow up. They have no confidence, no self-esteem. They have no boundaries. Don't know how to say no. Scared of every goddamn thing. And so they going out here trying to find a relationship with these rogue men. These girls are just roadkill. These are true stories. So many girls, women will accept this kind of mistreatment just so they have a relationship. So anyway, yeah, that's what you do. You don't need to go back and forth with them. You just say, in my relationship, I demand this, and this that indicates commitment and loyalty. However, you have done X, Y, Z, 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 which indicates to me that you're still trying to play. So what we're going to do is break up. And so you'll be free to do all of that. So you don't ask him. You don't try to negotiate. You don't explain. You don't try to get his buy-in or his approval. You lay out the law and you pack your shit and you leave. That's all you have to do. It's not up to him. It's up to you. Question 13. This is a female, 22 to 27 from Kansas City, Missouri. Summary issue. Am I moving on too soon? I'm 23 and I broke up with my 23-year-old boyfriend a month ago. I just happened to meet someone who I'm interested in dating. It feels too soon, but when I think about the timeline, when I feel so soon when I think about the timeline, but I also know that I felt like my previous relationship was over before I actually officially ended it. Yep, that's how women do things. I had felt like my boyfriend was just my friend, better as a friend for a while, but I still loved him and wanted to keep trying until I just couldn't anymore. Now that we're not in a relationship and we still talk like friends, I feel like things are exactly how they were always supposed to be. Now I met someone new I'd like to get to know. Is that too soon? Is there something wrong with moving on so fast? Nope. The only thing that's wrong with it is, you listen to other people. Because, I mean, you could break up with somebody at noon and then go out at 4 and meet somebody else and start dating them. I don't put them shackles on people. You go where the flow is. But like I've explained this before, women break up different. Like we give dudes so many chances. We will talk about it, we complain, we explain, we ask for stuff, we try to negotiate. So, but each time that happens, each time he hurts us, we fall out of love a little bit more, a little bit more. So it's a gradual thing for most women. They don't just wake up and say, "Oh, fuck you, motherfucker," and then be out. It's a gradual thing. And so that's why by the time, you make it official, you've already cut the emotional ties with them, which was being done sometimes over a period of years or at least months. And guys don't get that. They feel like they got broadsided, like you just came out of nowhere talking about you don't want to be with them no more. No, you just wasn't paying attention. Every time she asked you to spend more time with her, every time she asked you to be more considerate, every time she asked you to be more romantic, every time she asked you for time, like a date night and stuff like that, to help her with the kids, to help with the housework, and you didn't do it, she's falling out of love with you a little at a time. That's right. That's how it's supposed to be, Kiki. I don't understand these people trying to hold out. Who you trying to like impress and shit? I mean, go for yours. What makes you happy? Forget these people. So anyway, that's my response. If you wanna and stop talking to your ex. You're gonna get involved with a new person and you still got your ex hanging around all up in your mix. It's not gonna work. It's a rare man who's not gonna be jealous about that or misunderstand. So make sure you ease him out. You break into, start dating somebody new. You don't need to be friends with your ex. The only reason that need to happen is if you guys have children and you need to co-parent the kids. You don't have no kids together. You're supposed to block them fools and move on with your life. You don't need to ever talk to them again. And they're not your friends. Okay? Question number 14. This is a female, 22 to 27 from Dayton, Ohio. Her summary of issues. Should I break up with my boyfriend after he ignored a serious concern that I raised? We're both 25 and have been dating for about 5 months. I noticed that he goes on these crash diets when he wants to lose weight. The diet consists of him basically eating no carbs and very little calories so he can get into ketosis. He'll be on this diet for a few weeks at a time. I noticed he would go on these diets when he felt he ate too much and wanted to slim down. He also has a goal weight that I find concerning for his height. I raised my concern to him early in the relationship since I believe the diet isn't healthy and affects his emotional regulation/mood, but he brushed it off saying he'd rather lose the weight faster than drawing it out, a healthier approach, and that a longer approach would make him feel physically worse and make him feel physically and emotionally worse. I had a relationship check-in with him about a month ago where I raised some concerns and brought up the diet again. He said he would make adjustments to address my other concerns and tweak his diet to not go into keto. I can tell he's on the diet again because I smell the keto breath. And the times we went out recently, he ordered 0-calorie drinks and ate nothing. I asked him if he's on the diet again, and he said yes. I could tell there's something deeper going on, but I communicated something important and expected a change, and it didn't happen. It makes me feel unheard, like my concerns won't be taken seriously long term. I do enjoy the relationship, but I feel like I'm at a loss. Help me. Slap the fuck out of yourself. Let me tell you why. What he does with his body is his goddamn business. I have shit to do with you. You're just a mere girlfriend. Okay, and you only been around for 5 months. Are you trying to regulate on somebody and tell somebody what to do? You don't do that. What he does with his body and his diet don't have shit to do with you. Okay? He ain't carrying your kid. Nothing about what he's doing is involving you in any way, shape, or form. It doesn't hurt you. It doesn't help you. So that means it's none of your business. You overstepping. And what's gonna happen here, he's gonna see sick of your shit trying to run his life like this, and he's gonna dump you. And that probably is a good thing. Because you don't seem to understand what being a girlfriend is. Even if you was married to him, you still wouldn't have the right to tell him what to eat and what not to eat, how to eat. I mean, that's his choice. Just like people, they meat eaters and they suddenly have their spouse decides to go vegan. Okay? That's nice, but you as the vegan, you don't get to tell me not to eat meat, just like I'm not going to try to add meat to your plate. We're going to respect each other's choices because that's what adults do. It's the same principle. Yeah, she just she just doing too much. And it's like my concerns won't be taken seriously. Bitch, nobody got to listen to you. You may express the concern, but that doesn't mean anybody has to listen to it or do it. That's the part you just seem to forget. You act like you running somebody's mother or something. Shut up. Go sit your ass down somewhere. Question number 15. This is a male, 22 to 27, from Burlingame, California. Summary of issue. My parents strongly oppose my engagement, and my father has threatened self-harm. I've been with my girlfriend for 2.5 years and plan to propose. We're both 24. My parents, who live in Europe, strongly oppose the engagement for class/cultural reasons and personal dislikes. My father has threatened the S word if I go through with it. I don't agree with their reasons and feel pressured and conflicted about how to move forward. About a year ago, my mother came to stay with me. My girlfriend welcomed her into our home, offered her a place to stay, cooked for her, and included her in outings and activities. However, one evening, my girlfriend chose not to sit with my mother for dinner because she wanted some private time with me. Since then, my mother has said she dislikes her because of that single incident, which I find personally unreasonable. My father has always avoided discussing engagement with me. Recently, he finally explained that he does not want me to get engaged because my girlfriend is not from the same background as me and comes from what he considers a lower social class, something I strongly disagree with. He also mentioned that he dislikes her tattoos, although that has never been an issue for me. What is shaking me the most is that my father has now threatened the S word if I go ahead with the proposal. I don't know how to process this, and I feel extremely conflicted and pressured. At the same time, I don't feel it's right to call off my engagement based on these objections, especially since I genuinely want to build a life with my girlfriend. I'm considering proposing, but not telling my family for now, at least until things calm down. I'm really torn between my own happiness and my parents' reactions, and I'd appreciate any advice if you know of people who have been in a similar situation or who can offer an outside perspective. Thanks for choosing my letter. I'm going to say this. Only little boys listen to their parents. You out in the world, you working, you feeding yourself, you clothing yourself, you paying all your own bills. You're not asking your parents for shit, right? So what you supposed to do, yeah, his father's like acting like a little bitch. And that's what I would tell my father, but me and my daddy had a different kind of relationship. So you acting like a little bitch right about now, threatening to do something to yourself because I want to get married to somebody. So what you have to do, young man, is tell your father, well, Dad, Um, you might not like it, but you know what? I really don't care. So if that's what you want to do to try to protest my choice of a wife, then you just go right ahead. What kind of flowers do you want at your funeral? And just call him on it. And if he does it, then just say, okay, well, that's what he wanted to do. I mean, he's an adult. He can choose to end his life whenever he wants to. And that's what I would tell everybody. It's like one thing we're not going to do. You're not going to hold my life hostage with your threats because I just don't give a shit. You do what you want to do. It's not going to stop nothing over here. And that's what you have to tell him. And I know you sound like you all, the good son type, talking about I'm conflicted and all this old shit here. I don't know what you're conflicted about. I wish some of my parents would say some shit like that to me. I'd be like, well, when you gonna do it? I'm gonna get engaged. We're gonna have the wedding the next day, if not the day of your funeral, just because. But I say shit like that to people. Oh, it's Shay. Yes, my shoulders hurt. I wonder if I had the flu or something, because I just feel achy. Oh, just everything hurts. But anyway, okay, let's move on. Question number 16. This is a female, 22 to 27, from Jolie. Is that how you say that? Joliet, Illinois? I don't know how you pronounce it. So I have an issue. I feel like my boyfriend is being really unsupportive of me quitting weed and is almost hoping for me to fail. Wow. For some context, we've been together for 2.5 years and we have both smoked the entire time. He's 22 and I'm 25, if that matters. Deb, I have smoked daily since I was 12. Yes, I find this absolutely horrifying, and it's part of what drove me to quit, being 25 and smoking over half my life. And just after the new year, I quit after debating it for the best part of last year. Wow. Oh, that's fine, Shay, because half the time I don't show up anyway, so it is what it is. Oh, this is my Motown shirt. I forgot where I bought this. This wasn't a gift. I bought this one myself this time. When I first started quitting, I was adamant that he wouldn't be smoking in the house at all, but due to it being so severely cold, I recently allowed him to smoke in the kitchen. Yesterday, like an absolute idiot, I let him smoke one in the living room because he'd had a really bad day at work, but expressly said it would be one off and had to be back in the kitchen again. Today, again, he had a bad day, so I suggested he roll himself one rather than stewing in his head. An hour later, he had rolled one and then gotten pissy when I reminded him to go into the kitchen. I guess she's telling him to stand under the hood fan. He then said, well, if I'm just going to smoke it in here, and went to light it, and it wasn't until I threatened to tear it up and throw it all out when he stopped. He's now sulking in the bedroom, but I'll bet any money as soon as I go in there, he'll leave. This combined with other things, saying he misses smoking with me, getting pissy when I asked him to roll in the kitchen instead of right next to me when I first quit, and the cravings were bad, etc., have made me feel like he wants me to fail so he can go back to smoking more and being more comfortable while doing so. Am I crazy for feeling this way, or is it understandable that I'm feeling this way because of his actions? I know withdrawal can make your emotions go a bit on the fritz. Um, well, see, that's the part about. I mean, I'm on the fence with this one because I feel like, um, thanks, Shay. I feel like when you decide, okay, this is something you was doing him all along, and you decided to switch, to change up and stop doing it. But now you want him to stop doing it to make all these concessions for you, and that's not fair. So what happens, like when you stop drinking, you're not supposed to tell other people not to drink around you. When you stop wanting to eat chips and donuts and stuff, that doesn't mean other people have to stop having it around you so you won't be tempted. That's on you to manage. That's what being an adult is. That's for you to handle. That's your life that you have to manage. So even though I can see what you're trying to do, I'm on his side. And it doesn't mean that he's trying to get you to sabotage your thing. He just doesn't want his life to have to change because you made a choice to change yours. Because what you're trying to do right now is not fair. You change all you want to. Nobody else has to change for you. And that's the part you haven't seemed to understand. You have a bit of an entitlement complex, girlfriend. You think because that's what you want that everybody's supposed to capitulate. No, that ain't how it works. You don't want to smoke, then don't smoke. He's rolling in another room. Get up and go take your ass to another room. I mean, you know what I mean? Everything that you said, you had options here. I mean, he didn't have to get up and go somewhere else. If you watch a movie or something, watch it on your phone while he's in the other room. Or get you a tablet. That's my favorite thing. I have a Google tablet and I love it. I take it everywhere with me. It's perfect. And so I watch what I want to watch on there. So I don't know what to tell you. I'm not feeling your direction that you're trying to push things here. Okay, this is question number 17. I think I'm gonna go to 18. My shoulders hurt, seriously. Oh, wonder if I have a fever. This hasn't been a good week for me. Okay, she's female. She's 20 to 34 from Tacoma, Washington. Summary issue. I found emotionally intimate messages on my partner's phone, and I don't know how to rebuild trust. What should I do? Oh, why is it that you have to rebuild trust when he's the one who did the wrong thing? I'm confused. I'm a 28-year female and my partner's 30. We've been together for a little over 5 years, living together for two. Until recently, I generally thought we were a solid, not perfect, but safe, committed, and on the same team. 2 weeks ago, my world tilted. He asked me to check something on his phone while he was in the shower. A message notification popped up from a woman I didn't recognize. I didn't go digging intentionally, but the preview alone made my stomach drop. It wasn't sexual, but it was intimate, inside jokes, pet names. I miss you today. Emotional check ins that sound a lot like the way we used to talk to each other when we first fell in love. I confronted him that night. He admitted they'd been talking for months. He insisted it was never physical and said he didn't see it as cheating because nothing happened. He apologized and cried, oh, how convenient, and said he didn't realize how far it had gone until I called it out. He's since cut contact with her and says he wants to do whatever it takes to fix this. But here's the problem. I don't know if I can fix what's broken in me. I feel stupid for not noticing sooner. I feel replaceable. I replay our conversations and wonder which parts of him were already gone while I was still trying. Some moments I believe his remorse is real. Other moments I feel like I just caught him before it became physical. I still love him deeply. I miss feeling safe with him. But now every time he's on his phone, my chest tightens. I don't want to be someone who monitors, suspects, and resents. I also don't want to walk away from 5 years without knowing if this is something couples can genuinely recover from. My question to you is rebuilding trust actually possible? And how do you know when trying is healthy versus when you're just delaying the inevitable? What concrete steps should I be looking for beyond apologies? I'm not writing just to vent. I really want perspective. I will be listening and reading the chat. Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna say, Shay girl, it's been like this all evening. These women are just delirious. I don't know what's wrong with them. I'm gonna say this. If it were me, this is how I would handle. I would have to sit down with dude, cause see, I'm the kind I want to know. I don't want to just know about the result. I want to know what led up to the result. What were the underlying factors of this? So I would have to sit down with him and I say, okay, so how did you meet this woman? And tell me the steps that led up to you guys doing this daily texting and developing pet names and all this kind of stuff. And I'd want to know. Don't let him get away. Oh, I don't know. I don't. It was nothing. No, motherfucker, you gonna talk. You gonna tell me. And then you say, okay, so what was it that you were looking to get from this situation? What was you thinking that you were gonna get that you didn't have already at home? These are the kind of things you need to ask him for two reasons. Not just because you need to, you want to know, but so that he can think about it himself. Because a lot of times when men get involved in this kind of stuff, they're just on autopilot. The woman's paying attention to them. They get their ego involved. They feel all, fluffed up because somebody's talking to them and, giving them compliments and shit. They don't really think about, you know, what the end result is going to be. And then you can ask him, you know, um, what is it how did you think this would affect our relationship? Well, how did you think it would impact me once I found out? So these are the kinds of things, you want to walk him through this to see where his mind was. And then once you hear, you can make a good decision about this trust issue that you're writing in about. Because if he doesn't have, no, he just going with the flow, he just got himself caught up, no thoughts, no consideration, no maturity, no emotional intelligence about, at all in the situation, then you know that he's not really, no matter how much you love him, he's not a good bet for a husband. Because husbands must be intentional. They must be focused on their marriage and they must make a choice every day to choose their wife and choose their marriage. When I meet men like that, okay, you meet a guy, right? He might not have a ring on, but one of the first thing he does, like he'll work it into the conversation. Oh, my wife, this and that. Or when I get home, my wife is cooking this. Somehow they're gonna let you know they married. That's what I'm talking about, intentional. They let you know right off the bat. It ain't no hiding it, trying to, put up a smoke screen, pretend they single. They don't do that. They start talking about their wives, referencing their wife and kids in some kind of way early in the conversation. So you know, as a single woman, in case you were sniffing around, what the deal is. They let you know up front. So that to me is the difference between a man who's handling, himself with intention and awareness, and one who's just hoping, he's just going through life, Mickey Mouse and blind. Yeah, it's just terrible. I don't know what to tell you, but that was to be the approach that I would take, so that I could go away with a full understanding of how this happened, what steps led up to it, and then ultimately I would make my decision based upon his responses or lack thereof. Okay, let's move on. I think this is gonna be my last one. We're gonna be back here tomorrow. We're gonna be back tomorrow for more questions. It's the holiday. I might start earlier tomorrow. So let's see. This is question number 18. This is a female, 22 to 27 from Jacksonville, Florida. Summary issue. I'm struggling with my boyfriend's lack of boundaries with his mama. I'm 23 and I've been with my boyfriend. He's also 23 for almost 3 years. I care about him deeply, but I'm struggling with how involved his mom is in our relationship and how little he defends me or sets boundaries. Some examples. She's made negative comments about me, including telling some things I said, some someone I said things I never did, and blaming me for things that weren't true. Another bullet point, she put bullet point. When they were choosing a new church, I mentioned I couldn't commit to driving 40 minutes a week, and she said, the devil only thinks it's far. Wow. Oh, you are? I need to be marching, but I'm going to be marching myself right in this chair. On a recent trip, she FaceTimed him every single day just to talk, even though we were only gone for 3 days. She often throws fits or acts upset when she doesn't get her way, and he usually gives in to keep the peace. On Thanksgiving, she also asked to sit on his lap for a photo. He said, I don't want you to, but if you want, and she did it anyway. She also stalks his social media in the past and present to see what he's doing at all times. Wow, she's like a jealous woman. What hurts most is his lack of defense. He says he'll set boundaries, but he hasn't followed through. When I express how these situations made me feel, he tells me I should be grateful because she invites me to family events. He recently told me not to bring her up anymore because she hasn't done anything lately. Another issue is church. He goes with his family, but he doesn't want to go along with me, only with them. I'm open to splitting churches, but I feel like I'm not being prioritized or included in the parts of his life that matter. I'm trying to figure out if this can realistically improve, or if I'm forcing a future with someone who isn't ready to separate from his mom or stand up for our relationship. I don't want to resent him, but I'm starting to feel stuck. Oh, you gonna feel resentful. Okay, let me just say, okay, you only in the 22 to 27 age group. So y'all is 23, both of you 23. And he lets his mother make comments about you. You don't check her. She said that thing that only the devil thinks is far. Say, no, my gas tank thinks it's far, bitch. My gas. That's what I'm talking about. Don't have shit to do with the Jesus or the devil. You stuck. You sound stupid. On a recent trip, she FaceTimed him every single day just to talk. Okay, well, why did he answer the phone though? He could have just ignored the call. She throws fits. He could just let her throw a fit. I mean, nobody died from throwing a fit. She wanted to sit in his lap for a picture and said, I don't want you to, but if you want, and she did it anyway, then he's supposed to say, no, I don't want my mama sitting in my lap. You ain't my girlfriend. You need to go find a dude that's more your age group, somebody that you're trying to get with, and sit in his lap. It's inappropriate. That's what he's supposed to say to her. So he says, what kind of shit is this? You gonna sit in my lap? Fuck out of here. And then she stalks the social media. So I mean, but those that doesn't really impact you. this is all on him. He needs to set boundaries, like you pointed out with his mother. He hasn't done it. He probably won't be able to do it until he's much older. And then it's gonna happen. When it happens, it's gonna be like a blow up because he's holding all of the stuff in. So it's gonna explode out of him, and then it's gonna be a nightmare for both of them. As far as the church thing goes, I wouldn't. You got to count your blessings. They don't want you to go with them. I would be like, yay, while I went and do something else. But you like to go to church, so you just go right ahead. You attend for me too, because I ain't going. So anyway, so let's stop here. That's an hour and a half, and then we'll start again tomorrow. Like I said, I think I'll move the show up to 3. Yeah, his mother just doing the most. I remember I had a boyfriend, his aunt, and his aunts. I mean, let's see, we were in high school, and his aunts were like in their 20s. I mean, late 20s, early 30s, something like that. And one of them, wanted to sit in his lap, and he looked so uncomfortable. And he was doing this really uncomfortable laugh, and I could tell he didn't know what to do. We were just kids. He didn't know what to do. So she goes, and she was doing that for me. Yeah, this is crazy. Yeah, I'm gonna do that because I don't know what's going on. Like I feel like I'm getting something's wrong with me. I'm just falling apart. But thanks all you guys. So we'll do another show tomorrow. We just back to back. And by the time we get to probably Tuesday or Wednesday, maybe I'll have got through all these questions. Had to divide up 3 shows into like 4 or 5 because I have to keep dipping out. So you guys, glad you could make it. We already got the show scheduled for tomorrow, I believe. Hmm. I'll double check and see what time it is. Oh, Chevette, you just late. We're gonna be here tomorrow though. Check around 3 o'clock or set yourself a reminder so that because I'm thinking I want to do it a little earlier, like 3 instead of 4, but we'll see. So and finish up some of these questions and start on the ones for Monday. All right. So I will see you all hopefully tomorrow. Okay. And then if I don't finish them on Monday, then I'll see you on Tuesday too. All right. Ta ta.